Okay, greetings one and all, and welcome to this math video. In this math video, we'll be considering a paper one, yes, paper one, BJC Mathematics Pass Exam. And so this one is taken from 2011. This is BJC Mathematics Paper One Pass Exam, and let's dive in. Okay, let's consider question number one. Here we have an addition problem. We have to add 4,163 with 875.21. We have to add those three numbers. So let's begin with the first column. We have 5 plus 3 plus 1. That's going to be 9. Then we have 6 plus 7 plus 2. That is 15. We put the 5 down right here, and we put the 1 above. Then we say 8 plus 1 plus 1. That's going to be 10. We put the 0 down, and we put the 1 above. Next, we say what is 4 plus 1? 4 plus 1 is 5. And so the correct answer to this addition problem is 5,059. Okay, let's move on to this subtraction problem. Here, we want to find the difference. Yes, we want to find the difference between these two numbers. We have 8,756, and we have 5,490. So we have to take away 5,490 from 8,756. We begin with the ones column. We say 6 minus 0. Well, 6 minus 0 is 6. And let's try 5 minus 9. We cannot do that, so we must borrow. So we are regrouping. So we're gonna say 7 minus 1. 7 minus 1 is 6. We put the 6 above, and the 1 goes here. So now we have 15. 15 minus 9. And 15 minus 9 is 6, so we put the 6 below. What is 6 minus 4? Well, 6 minus 4 is 2. Next, we have 8 minus 5, and 8 minus 5 is 3. And so that means that the answer to this subtraction problem is 3,266. Now let's move on to question 2a. Here we have 3,159 multiplied by 9. And so let's consider this multiplication. Notice that we have a 9 times 9. 9 times 9 is 81. We put the 1 down. We put the 8 above. And then we say, what is 5 times 9? Well, 5 times 9 is 45 plus 8. 45 plus 8 is going to be 53. We put the 3 down below. We put the 5 above. Next, we say 9 times 1. What is 9 times 1? 9 times 1 is 9 plus 5 plus this 5 above. That's going to be 14. So we put the 4 below, and we put the 1 above. 9 times 3. What is 9 times 3? 9 times 3 is 27. Plus 1 is going to be 28. So the answer is 28,431. Now let's move on to this division problem. Here we have 5,715. That's 5,715. That's the dividend divided by 3. And so we ask ourselves, how many times can 3 go into 5? Well, 3 could go into 5 one time. We know that 3 times 1, yes, 3 times 1 is 3. So we put the 3 down below, and we subtract. What is 5 minus 3? Well, 5 minus 3 is 2. Next, we bring down the 7. And so we ask ourselves, how many times can 3 go into 27? Well, 3 goes into 27 9 times. So 3 times 9 is 27. So we put the 27 down below. And we subtract. 7 minus 7 is 0. And 2 minus 2 is 0. So the answer here is 0. Next, we bring down the 1. And so we ask ourselves, how many times can 3 go into 1? 3 goes into 1 0 times, because 3 times 0 is 0. Next, we subtract. So 1 minus 0 is 1. And then we bring down the 5. Okay, how many times can 3 go into 15? Well, 3 can go into 15 5 times, because 3 times 5 is 15. And then we subtract. 5 minus 5 is 0. And 1 minus 1 is 0. And so the answer to this division problem is 1,905. Okay, let's move on to question number 3. Here we have the number 5,684, and we have to round it to the nearest 10. We know that 8 is in the tens place and 4 is in the ones place. So what we're going to do is we're going to consider 8, but we're going to underline 4 because 4 is very important. The number behind the tens place, that's the ones place, that's the number we're going to be looking at. And we notice that 4 is less than 5. So since 4 is less than 5, that means that we cannot add 1 to 8. So it's just going to be 5, 6, 8. And this 4 turns into a 0. And so the answer to this rounding problem is 5680 or 5,680. So what happened? This is 4 turned into a 0. And we do not add 1 because 4 is not greater than 5, but 4 is less than 5. Okay, let's move on to question number 4. Here we have a sequence. And if you look carefully, these are what we call square numbers. Because if we look carefully, 4 is 2 times 2. Okay, that's why 4 is a square number. Next we have, so 2 squared is 4. And then we have 3 times 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So 3 squared is 9. And then we have 4 times 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So 4 squared is 16. So what is the pattern? 2 squared is 4. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. And so we have to do 5 times 5. Because we have 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4. So the next one in the pattern is going to be 5 times 5. And 5 times 5 is definitely 25. And so the answer for this sequence problem is 25. Let's move on to 4b. Here we have another sequence. If you notice carefully, if we take away 3 from 39, that gives us 36. And if we take away 3 from 36, that gives us 33. And if we take away 3 from 33, that gives us 30. And so what we have to do, in each case, we subtracted by 3. And so in order to get this missing one, we're going to subtract by 3 again. And 30 minus 3 is definitely 27. So the missing number in the sequence is 27. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here we have number 5. It says complete the shape about the line of symmetry. And so the line of symmetry here is this dotted line. It is important to note that the line of symmetry is a line that cuts the image directly in half, such that one side is exactly identical to the other side. And so what we have here, if we want to complete the shape, we have to do it just like this. So what this is actually an arrow. So we have to complete the arrow. And if we look carefully, this line of symmetry cuts this image in half such that this side is identical to the next side. And if you fold the image onto the line of symmetry, they will, the two sides will come up on each other and it will be a perfect match. They would match perfectly. And so here, this side and this side, they are mirror images of each other. And so there, with that we have it, we have completed the shape. Okay, let's move on to question number 6. Here they want us to use our compass and ruler to bisect the line AB. It says use your ruler and compass to bisect the line AB below. It is important to note that this line AB is 9.5 centimeters. So this line right here is 9.5 centimeters. And we want to bisect this line. What does it mean to bisect the line? Bisect means to cut in half. And so we're going to bisect it, which means that we're going to cut it in half. So again, what we want to do is we want to bisect this line. This line is 9.5 centimeters. Okay, this is 9.5 centimeters. And we want to bisect this line. Okay, bisect means to cut in half. So let us go and use a ruler and a compass to bisect this line. So let's do that. So again, we have the line AB. It is 9.5 centimeters. And what we want to do is we want to get our compass. And we want our compass to be about 65% of the way for the line. So you take your compass, put your tip here at A, and you're going to extend it to about 65% of the way. Now you want to make sure your compass is locked in the sense that you want to make sure that you do not readjust after you already have it in this. After you already extend the line this way, you want to keep it that way. You don't want to readjust the compass length. You want to keep it just like that. And so here we're going to create an arc. So we're going to create an arc that cuts our line AB. All right. So we create that arc. And that's the first, we start at A and we draw an arc that intersects the line AB. Now we're going to go to B. Remember, we do not change. Please do not change or adjust your compass size or your compass length. Leave it just as is. And you're going to go here, and then you're going to draw another arc. Okay. Excellent. Okay, now that you have that, what you want to do is you want to use your ruler. So let's use our ruler, and we're going to draw a line that it cuts this, that we're going to draw a line that that intersects here and also intersects here, so that it will bisect the line AB. So we'll cut the line AB in half. So we have to be very careful there, making sure that our ruler is in the right place so that we can have a straight line that goes through it. So let's adjust it properly. Okay. And so we have to draw one line that cuts it. All right, so let's get it properly done. So we're just trying to readjust our line to make sure that everything is okay. So when we cut the line, everything is straight. Okay, so let's try it here and see if it cuts it directly in half. Let me move it over a little bit more. Okay, that should be it. Let's try. So we're gonna draw a line, and it's gonna cut it right there in the middle and right there. Let's move it over. It's still not perfect because it still could be a little bit more over to the left. So let me do it again. So let's do it about here. And so we cut the line, and no, I moved the ruler. So let's do it again. So let us cut the line. All right. Okay, so as you can see, this line cuts it right here, and it also cuts it right here. And so we bisected the line AB. Okay, so this is how you bisect the line AB. What you do is you come at point A, you draw an arc, you go at point B, you draw another arc, and then you draw a line in the middle that intersects this point right here, and that intersects this point. And so this line is 9.5 centimeters, and so we cut it directly in half. So let me take this image and let's put it right here, back to our slide. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question number 7. It says, question number 7 says, given that 90 is equal to 2 times 3 times 3 times 5, and 54 is equal to 2 times 3 times 3 times 3, find the highest common factor, the HCF, of the two numbers. So in order to find the HCF of a 90 and 54, what we have to do is we have to group the common factors. So here, notice carefully, we have 2 and 2, so that both of them are common factors of 90 and 54. So I should say that 2 is a common factor of 90 and 54. So we're gonna group them. We also note that 3 is a part of 54 and 90 as well. So we're gonna group them as well. And we also have 3 again. 3 is a part of 90 and 3 is a part of 54. So we're gonna group them. Now there are no more common factors because if we look at 5 and 3, they are not alike. And so what we have, therefore, the HCF of 90 and 54 is going to be 2, okay? The common factor here is 2. 3, the common factor here is 3. And 3 again, the common factor here is 3, okay? So even though there are 2 2's, you only write it once. And even though it's 2 3's, you only write it once. So one group accounts for one digit. So this is a group of, this is 2 2's here, and so that accounts for 1 2. 2 3's here accounts for 1 3, and 2 3's here accounts for 1 3. And so we have 2 times 3 times 3, which is going to be 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 times 3 is 18. And so that means that the HCF of 90 and 54 is going to be 18. So we group the common factors, and then we multiply them. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Here we have question number 8. It says here that AB is parallel to DC. Again, AB is parallel to DC. What is AB? Well, AB is this line right now. Right, that's AB. AB is parallel to DC, and that makes sense. They are parallel, they are equal distance apart, okay? And they never meet. And so these two lines are parallel. So name a line that's parallel to DH, okay? So if we look carefully, a line that's parallel to DH, okay, so this is DH here. A line that's parallel to DH is going to be AE. So AE is parallel to DH. They are equal distance apart and they never meet. And so the correct answer here is AE. Now let's move on to question B. It says BC is a vertical line. And a vertical line is just a line that goes up and down. A vertical line is the opposite of a horizontal line, which goes from left to right. A vertical line goes up and down. So are there any other vertical lines? Yes, they are. Line AD is also a vertical line. There are also other vertical lines because EH is also a vertical line, and also FG. FG is also a vertical line. And so what that means is that other vertical lines that we can name are AD, EH, okay, and FG. All right, you could choose any one of them, but you only want to choose one. So again, BC is vertical, AD is vertical, EH is vertical, and FG. All of them are vertical lines. So we're going to choose one of them, and I chose FG. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here we have question number 9. It says express the fraction 35 over 50 as a percent. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take 35 over 50 and we're going to express it as a percent. So when you express in a fraction as a percentage, what you do is you multiply by 100. So we got to take 35 over 50 and multiply it by 100. So again, if you want to take 35 over 50 and express it as a percentage, you need to multiply it by 100. So we have 35 over 50. Okay, and we have to multiply it by 100. Why are we multiplying by 100? Because we're trying to change 35 over 50 into a percentage. What we can do is we can cancel out the zeros. So this 0 right here can cancel out with the 0 on top. And so we are left with 35 over 5 multiplied by 10 over 1. So let's write that down. So we have 35 over 5 multiplied by 10 over 1. What do we do at this point? Well, at this point, we have to multiply 35 by 10. What is 35 times 10? Well, 35 times 10 is just 350. And we have to multiply 5 by 1, and 5 by 1 is 5. So now to find out our answer, we have to divide 350 by 5. So what is 350 divided by 5? Here we can do the division. We can say 5 goes into 35 7 times. So 5 times 7 is 35. 35 minus 35, we subtract that and we get 0. Next, we bring down the 0. We say how many times can 5 go into 0? 5 goes into 0 0 times. And so 5 times 0 is 0. We minus 0 and 0 and we get 0. So the answer to this division problem is 70. And so that means that 350 divided by 5 is going to be 70. And so that means that 35 divided by 50, or 35, the fraction 35 over 50 as a percent is 70%. Okay, let's move on to question number 10. Question number 10 says, from the numbers in the table below, write the largest prime number. So a prime number is a number that only has two factors, 1 and itself. 51 is not prime because 3 can go into 51, 1 can go into 51, and 51 can go into 51. That's at least 3. Once you have at least 3, you know it's not prime. 27 is not prime. 12 is not prime. 18 is not prime. All of them are composite numbers. 7 is a prime number. 3 is a prime number. 9 is not prime. 5 is prime. And 23 is prime. So the largest of the primes, because 7 is prime, 3 is a prime number, and 23 is a prime number. Those, and 5 is a prime number as well. Those are the only prime numbers here. And so the largest of those primes are going to be 23. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here we want to figure out what is a cube number from this group. And a cube number notice that we have 3 times 3 times 3. The result of that is a cube number. So when you have a number and it's involved in the multiplication 3 times, then that's a cube number. The product of that is the cube number. And so 3 times 3 is 9. And if you multiply 9 by 3, that's going to be 27. And so 27 is a cube number from this group. Now let's move on to the next question. Here it says 10C, we want a multiple of 6. Multiples of 6 are 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and so on. So from this table, we have different multiples of 6. We have 12, that's a multiple of 6. We also have 18, that is also a multiple of 6 as well. So we could choose either 12 or 18, it's up to us. So I'm going to choose 12, but 18 is also a multiple of 6. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 11, it says, Seaside Airline allows its passengers to travel with one bag and a carry-on at no extra cost. The second bag and all others are at an additional cost of $30 each. How much would a passenger with 3 bags and a carry-on bag have to pay? So let me read that again. How much would a passenger with 3 bags and a carry-on bag have to pay? So what does the passenger have? Well, the passenger have 3 bags, okay? So it has 3 bags, 1 bag, 2 bag, 3 bags. So the passenger has 1 bag, 2 bags, and 3 bags, and it has a carry-on, okay? So remember what they said. They say that 1 bag and a carry-on, okay? 1 bag and a carry-on is free. So 1 bag and a carry-on at no extra cost, that's what it says. So for the 1 bag and the carry-on, they do not have to pay, but they do have to pay for this bag, and they do have to pay for this bag. So that means that they have to pay for 2 bags, and we know that each bag is $30. So 30 plus 30 is going to be 60. So that means that the amount that they have to pay is $60. Let's move on to question number 11B. It says the first bag weighs 7.85 kilograms. Express this in grams. We can use the acronym knock him down Grammy, don't commit murder, where K is for kilograms, G is for where K is for kilograms and G is for grams. And so if we are moving from kilograms to grams, we're going to move 3 times to the right. That's 1, 2, 3, 3 times to the right. And so that means when we move with our decimal point, we have to move 3 times to the right. So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. And so that's where our decimal place is going to be, right here. And we put the 0 here as a placeholder. And so that means that 7.85 kilograms is actually 7,850 grams, basically multiplying by 1,000. Okay, let's move on to the next question. We have question number 12. Sally had 120 candies. She shared 90% among her friends. How many candies did she share among her friends? So she shared that 90%. 90% of the 120 candies that she have, she shared with her friends. So what is 90% of 120? That's going to be 90 over 100, that's 90%, multiplied by 120. What we could do is we could cancel. So this 0 cancel with that 0, and this 0 cancel with this 0. And so we are left with 9 over 1 times 12 over 1. Okay, so 9 over 1 times 12 over 1 after all the zeros are canceled. What is 9 times 12? Well, 9 times 12 is 108. And what is 1 times 1? 1 times 1 is 1. And so the answer here is going to be 108. And so that means that she shared 108 candies, 108 candies with her friends, and that's 90%. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Question B. It says, if each friend receives 6 candies, how many friends did she share with? So each friend received 6 candies, so we're going to take that 108 and divide it by 6. How many times can 6 go into 10? Well, 6 goes into 10 once. 6 times 1 is 6. We subtract. And we know that 10 minus 6 is 4. We bring down the 8. And so how many times can 6 go into 48? Well, 6 goes into 48 8 times. 6 times 8 is 48. Again, 6 times 8 is 48. And so we subtract 48 minus 48. That's going to be 0. And so the answer here is 18. That means that she shared her candies among 18 friends. So among these 18 friends, we know that each one of them got 6. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Question number 13. It says, the perimeter of the rectangle above is 112 centimeters. The length is 30. Calculate the width of the rectangle. Okay, so if this is a rectangle, that means that this side is exactly equal to this side in length. So the side is also going to be 30 centimeters. So if this is 30, this is also going to be 30. And the width is this, and the width is that. So both of them have to be the same distance. They have to be equal in distance. So that's why if this is the width, if this is W, we're going to call this W as well. Okay, perimeter. Perimeter is the sum of all of the sides. So the perimeter of the shape is going to be W, this side, okay, plus W, this side. So let me do it properly. So erase our link. So the perimeter is going to be W plus W plus 30 plus 30. So it's going to be, if we add up all of them together, that's going to be the perimeter. And they tell us that the perimeter is equal to 112. So let's add 30 plus 30. 30 plus 30 is going to be 60. And so we have 30 plus 30 is 60, and W plus W is 2W. What we can do here is we can send the 60 over the equal sign. And what will happen in that case? But if we send the 60 over the equal sign, it becomes a negative because it was a positive here. So it becomes a negative. So now we have 112 minus 60. So we have 2W is equal to 112 minus 60. What is 112 minus 60? That's going to be 52, because 112 minus 60 is 52. Now at this point, we can divide both sides by 2. And if we divide both sides by 2 and we cancel, we get that W is equal to 52 divided by 2. And what is 52 divided by 2? 52 divided by 2 is exactly 26. And so that means that the width of the rectangle is 26. And so that means that W right here is 26. So this right here is 26. Okay. And this right here as well is also going to be 26. So if we do 26 plus 30 plus 26 plus 30, again, 26 plus 30 plus 26 plus 30, okay, that's going to give us 112, which is exactly equal to the perimeter that we have. Okay, let's move on to the next question, question number 14. Here it says that for option 1, we have one book. One book is for $149. Sorry, one book is for $1.49. So this is for one book. All right, so you get one book for $1.49. Or for option 2, you can get 3 books for $4.35. Let's say that John bought 3 books at $1.49 each. How much did he pay altogether? So altogether, we're gonna figure out how much did he have to pay in total. So let's multiply 149 by 3. Okay, what is 3 times 9? 3 times 9 is 27. So we put the 7 down below. And we put the 2 above. What is 3 times 4? But 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 2. Yes, 12 plus 2. That's going to be 14. We put the 4 down below. We put the 1 above. Next, what is 3 times 1? 3 times 1 is 3. Plus 1 is going to be 4. And so because we deal with 2 numbers behind the decimal point, it's going to be, this decimal point is going to be right there. And so that means that the answer to this problem is $4.47. So that means that for 3 books, with each one of them being $1.49, and he got 3 books, that means that in total, it will cost him $4.47. Okay, that's the cost for 3 books. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here we have, it says, what is the difference between price the price. It says, what is the difference in price between using option 1 and option 2? So we want the difference in price between option 1 and option 2. Okay, so how are we going to find the difference? Difference means subtract. And so we have to subtract $4.47 minus the first one. We remember they said that we get 3 books at $4.35. Remember they said that in a question, 3 books for $4.35. That was option 2. And so we have to subtract these two. So $4.47 minus $4.35. We have to perform the subtraction. Please ensure that your numbers are aligned. Okay, make sure they're aligned. Now we say, what is 7 minus 5? 7 minus 5 is 2. What is 4 minus 3? 4 minus 3 is 1. We put the decimal point right here. And what is 4 minus 4? That's going to be 0. And so that means that the difference in price is actually 12 cents. Okay, 0.12, which is 12 cents. Okay, let's move on to number 15. Here we have a bar chart, and it tells us the CDs sold during January. Okay, and they asked us in which week was the largest number of CDs sold. Well, for week 1, that definitely have to be the largest because as you can see, the bar here is the tallest. Okay, and there were 100 CDs sold in week 1, so week 1 is the largest. The one that comes in second place would be week 3 with 80. Okay, let's move on to the next question. It says, in which week was the least number of CDs sold? So we have to look at the smallest or the shortest bar, and that would be week 4 with only 40. And so the correct answer here is week 4. Okay, let's move on to question C. It says, how many more CDs were sold in week 3 than in week 2? Well, in week 3, we sold 80, right? 80 CDs. And in week 2, we only sold 50 because this is 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So half of that is going to be 50. So in week 2, we only sold 50. So 80 minus 50 is going to be 30. So how many more CDs were sold in week 3 than in week 2? The answer is 30. Let's move on to question number 16. Here we have a quadrilateral. It's important to note that for a quadrilateral, the interior angles of a quadrilateral, the angles on the inside, the interior angles add up to 360. Not 180, but 360. And so that means that y plus 115 plus y plus 115, all of that must add up to 360 degrees. So let's do that. Y plus 115 plus 115 must all add up to 360. Okay, so let's solve this equation for y. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 115 plus 115. And what is 115 plus 115? That is going to be 230. And so we have y plus 230 equals to 360. We can take the 230 and send it over the equal sign. But before we even do that, let's add y plus y. We know that this is y plus y. Y plus y is going to be 2y. And so after that, now we can send the 230 over the equal sign. It was positive 230, but when we send it over the equal sign, it's going to be negative 230. And so let's subtract. 360 minus 230 is going to be 360 minus 230 is going to be 130. And so we have 2y is equal to 130. To get rid of this 2, we divide both sides by 2. And so we can cancel this 2 and cancel this 2 so that y will be by itself. And so now we have y is equal to 130 divided by 2. Again, y is equal to 130 divided by 2. What is 130 divided by 2? That's going to be 65. So 130 divided by 2 is going to be 65. So the correct answer for this question is definitely 65. Okay, great. So the answer for this one is 65. So y is equal to 65. And if we add 65 plus 115 plus 65, so it's very important to note that this is 65 right here. Y is 65. And also, this is also 65 right here. So if we were to add 65 plus 115 plus 65 plus 115, we add them together, we'll get 360 degrees. And that makes sense because the interior angles in a quadrilateral or four-sided figure add up to 360. So it's good that we're gonna get 65. Okay, so let's move on to question number 16b. Here we have another geometrical question, or a question on geometry, I should say. And so we have 70, R, and 80. Our goal is to find what R is. The rule that we should use for this one is the rule that says that angles on a straight line at a common point add up to 180 degrees. And so what that means is that once we add 70 plus R plus 80, all of them should add up to 180 degrees. And so what does that mean? 70 plus R plus 80 should add up to 180 degrees because they are on a straight line and they are at a common point. And the rule says that angles on a straight line at a common point add up to 180 degrees. What we can do here is we can group 70 and 80 together. So we put 70 plus 80, all right? And what is 70 and 80? Well, 70 plus 80, that's going to give us 150, okay? So that's 150 right there, plus R equals to 180. And we still need to figure out what R is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send this 150 over the equal sign. And that's going to be a subtraction because it was positive. Now we're going to subtract it. So that means that R is going to be equal to 180 minus 150, which means that R is equal to 30. And so the answer here is 30. And if you add 70 plus 30, because R is 30, okay, 70 plus 30, okay, 70 plus 30, that's 100, plus another 80, that's going to be 180. And so it is true that R is 30. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Here we have to simplify. It says simplify the following expression. We have 3m plus 8m plus 6z minus 2z. We have to add the like terms. So we have 3m plus 8m. 3m plus 8m is going to be 11m. So again, 3m plus 8m is 11m. And then we have to deal with 6z minus 2z. What is 6z minus 2z? That's going to be 4z. And so the answer here is going to be 11m plus 4z. We cannot do anything with this because these are unlike terms. So 11m plus 4z is just going to remain just like that. We cannot add them. We have to leave it just as is. Okay, let's move on to the next question, wherein we have this question B. It says, if f is equal to 3 and g is equal to 5 and h is going to be equal to 10, find the value of 2f minus g plus h. And so what that means is that wherever we see f, we're going to put 3. Wherever we see g, we're going to put 5. And wherever we see h, we're going to put 10. And so let's substitute. Again, 2f, f is 3. G is what? G is 5, so we put 5 here. And h is 10, so we put 10 right there. So we have to multiply. This means multiplication. Once you see them adjacent to each other like that, once you see them side by side to each other, that means multiplication. So we have to do 2 times 3. What is 2 times 3? 2 times 3 is definitely 6. We keep the negative 5, we keep the positive 10. So we have 6 minus 5 plus 10. What is 6 minus 5? Well, 6 minus 5, that's going to be 1, okay? And plus 10, that's going to be 1 plus 10, and 1 plus 10 is definitely 11. And so the answer for this is going to be 11. So if f is equal to 3, and g is equal to 5, and h is equal to 10, the value of 2f minus g plus h is actually 11. Okay, let's move on to question. This is going to be the C part. Here we have a linear equation, and they want us to solve for d. So what we have to do is we have to isolate d. That means that we have to make d the subject, and we have to put d on one side and everything else on the other side. So let's try to get rid of anything that's close to d, because what we want to do is we want to have d on one side and everything else on the other side. So let's send over the 6. So it was a positive 6. Once we send it over, it becomes a negative 6. So it's going to be 18 minus 6. What is 18 minus 6? That's definitely 12. But we still have this 3 on the side of the d. Like what we want is we want d by itself. And so we have to do, we have to divide both sides by 3. And we do that because we want to get rid of this 3. And what happens? These 3's, they cancel out each other. And so we have this 3 cancel with this 3. So we left with d is equal to 12 over 3, which means that d is equal to 12 divided by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So that means that d is equal to 4. So the value of d that satisfies this equation is 4. And it makes sense because if you look at it, 3 times 4, 3d, that's 3 times 4. 3 times 4 is 12. And add 12 to 6. 12 plus 6 is definitely going to be 18. And so the value of d that satisfies this equation is 4. Okay, that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully you found it helpful, and I'll see you in the other video.